when you get sick with a cold, you're like, I'm sick with a cold. I'm going to take a day off work, or I'm going to lay in this bed. And everybody's okay with that. Yeah. But the minute you say, I'm depressed, I have anxiety, or I'm dealing with grief, or whatever the issue is.
They'll be like, well, you don't look sick. Well, you don't know my sickness.
Right. Yeah. So that's not treated the same way as a cough to your cold.
Welcome back to another episode of Philly Keep On Loving, the podcast. I am one of your esteemed co-hosts. I am
so extra.
Ahmea.
And I am Javontae Lee Williams.
Ooh.
We are...
I can't even get my last name out, but it's okay. Ow.
We are back with another episode. I'm excited about this.
I am too.
Yeah, we're
Javontae got us some guests. They didn't give you money.
The way you say Javontae done got us some guests is like I went out in the street and found people, but I really did because I went to people's desks.
I mean, somebody did say, "Hey, I just heard from you." So that
it may have been this morning. Is
that why you were introducing me to people in the office like I never knew nobody? This morning was that your like warm up, like hey?
No, that was a different thing. We'll talk about that off the episode. But we are joined today by one of our esteemed colleagues in the office. Sometimes from time to time, y'all know our co-hosts include our co-workers because we ain't got no money. We ain't got no money.
So they didn't put money in the
budget. But Beyonce, if you would ever like to come on and speak to the kids, as if you need another platform, we will always have a seat waiting for you right here.
And if you want to bring the rest of Destiny's Child with you, because we know you're doing a reunion, and then we talk, call me, girl.
Does she have your number? No shade, but shade.
I mean, I'll have my people call your people and we'll do it.
So today we're talking about mental health on the podcast. Mental health and sexual wellness, which I think goes together really well.
We love a good sexual wellness conversation.
We love a good sexual wellness conversation. But I think, as we mature this podcast, we're getting our act together. We still got Dylan and Ricardo behind the cameras.
And they didn't give up on us.
They did not give up on us. They did not give up on us. But we moved into a larger room. As y'all have seen, this is our third setting now. And
I'm telling you, this
one,
I love this one. It's also, I thought this was a Christmas tree for a second, but it's not. I'm liking this. This is really cute.
Yeah. So we've got guests. We've got a larger room. It's not hot in here. It's not as hot as it was in the other studio.
This is true.
And we have a studio audience. Can we get a round of applause?
I'm telling you.
From both two people.
You're here. I promise you.
Two people?
From both two people.
From both two people.
But it's okay because I promise you, 2 weeks, I'm putting you in the invites. Yeah. You don't have to come. You just have to be our side.
Yeah, please put people in the invites.
Yes.
I'll be in your studio audience again.
We're creating room to... That's
yes. So we're joined by Ameenah McCann-Woods, who is the program manager at the Philadelphia Department of Health Division of HIV Health. Thank you, studio audience, both of them. And when we were walking over, we were talking about mental health and sexual wellness. Why is this a topic you care about?
Well, I care about both of them separately, but they can't exist without each other.
Tell me about that.
So separately, mental health, I will disclose. Recently, I've been going through my own mental health challenges, right? Dealing with grief, right? So, tapping into those toolbox that I have to kind of help me through certain things is really important, but also accessing services, right? So, just from my own personal standpoint. But we all know that we have a mental health crisis in our city, in this country, that completely goes unaddressed. Folks don't understand, or I'm not going to say don't understand, but our country does not value it in terms of something to take care of. Unlike physical health. When you get sick with a cold, you're like, I'm sick with a cold. I'm going to take a day off work, or I'm going to lay in this bed. And everybody's okay with that. Yeah. But the minute you say I'm depressed, or I feel I have anxiety, or I'm dealing with grief or whatever the issue is.
Because
people
don't call off.
Well,
and say you and they see you, they be like, well, you don't look sick. Well, you don't know my sickness.
Right.
Yeah.
And, it's not like if you call and say, hey, I need a day because I'm depressed today and I need to stay in bed. Mm-hmm. That's my medicine and I know that's what I need. Mm-hmm. That's not treated the same way as a cough to your cold.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right?
They're not even going to tell you about the EAP.
They're not. Well,
EAP,
Employee Assistance Program.
Yeah.
Right.
If you have a job.
If you have a job.
Hello.
But what I'm saying is it's not treated the same, but they very much should be.
Absolutely.
Right. When it comes to sexual wellness, I mean, I've been in this work for 20 plus years now, and I've seen
young
it
to be like that. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
But I've seen youth all the way to older adults who, compromise their sexual wellness because they may not be dealing with their mental issues, right? So together, it's doubly important.
Yeah. Now, to me, people always talk about mental health in the terms of violence, right?
Yeah.
Like when there's a mass shooting, and I can't even believe I'm saying when there is,
Yes.
because they've become so commonplace,
It's
right?
not an if, it's a when.
Yeah, like, and to me, I look at that same trauma, that damage of mass casualties as also happening spiritually and psychically on the inside of people, right? And people being bodied by the things that they go through. And one of those things, being breakups, right? And being divorces. So not many people know, but because not many people knew I got married, but I went through a divorce earlier this year. And
this
so,
podcast got you feeling like telling all of your business.
well, I mean, it's just us. It's just us and my
and
mama,
and
my
your
mama
mom
watching.
Don't
Our
forget
two guests-
Yolanda.
and
all of both of
Yolanda.
them.
Yeah, and
And all of
both of
both
them.
of them.
So at the most, like 4 people watching
Yes.
this podcast. But I went through a divorce earlier this year, and at first, because it was a necessary ending. Great book. If you haven't read it, I small plug, not sponsored.
You wrote a book?
No, it's a book called Necessary Endings, and it talks about relationships and situations that need to end, right? And even though it was a necessary ending, it still has launched me into this reflection and very much internal grief. And so, like, while I haven't picked up an Uzi and went out in the streets, the trauma on the inside still occurs. And so when we were talking before the episode started, you said the best way to get over one.
Don't repeat my street language.
Is it my
I'm a
favorite?
professional.
Is that one of my favorites?
Yes,
Oh,
yeah.
that was one of my
The
favorites.
best way to
What
get
is it?
over one is to get under one. And so I'm curious, like,
I got under a new therapist.
Okay.
I don't think that's how that goes together.
I don't know what that's how it don't come out the way you think it sounds.
It did.
It did.
I'm gonna have to run that back.
Right.
'Cause
You got a new therapist to get over a previous situation?
all of the childhood grief. I mean, absolutely.
Yeah. But I'm really curious, Ameenah, like,
You're doing really good.
thank you.
You're welcome.
I try. I'm really curious if, like, that is something that we need to do a better job addressing, like taking
No.
people's breakups seriously.
In all honesty, right, that saying, the best way to get over one is to get under another.
Okay.
It's a popular saying.
It's
Yeah,
very
'cause
popular.
'cause, honey,
and it's
all
a
I need to
good
do is
kiki
change my
moment.
outfit and I'm
It's an
done.
excellent kiki moment. But in reality, it's not healthy. One, because you're not dealing with what happened. I believe that when you go through a breakup,
Come on.
there is it's like a death.
Yeah.
Right?
For
and there's
some.
for some, but people who, whatever how long the relationship is,
Absolutely.
I've recently witnessed someone who go through a very short-term relationship that had an impact no different than someone who had a 20-year relationship, because feelings are feelings are feelings.
Yeah.
And the thing is, if you're not, if you're getting over one, getting under another to get over one, what you're doing is just kind of like kicking the can down the road.
Yeah.
And the person you do end up with can be the inadvertent recipient of your trauma.
Oh, she's
Okay.
speaking my way. like,
Well, I'm just saying.
Listen.
And so, we may have experienced relationships where it's like someone's lashing out, or they're like, "Where you at? What time you at? Okay, what time you coming? Oh, why you like? Wait a minute, I didn't do it. Who did it? Who did it to you, baby? Who did it? I didn't do it. Who hurt you?" And so, in the vein of sexual wellness and mental health, you have to unpack those things to be healthy enough for the next relationship.
Yeah.
Right? And so, if we're going to make it akin to death, there's a grieving process in the loss of a relationship.
Yeah.
And there's steps to the grieving process, right? And the ultimate step is acceptance. Right? And accepting the fact that that relationship ended for whatever the terms were, and that it need to end. Okay? And you have to accept that fact, and then you can move on, move those feelings over here, and open your heart and mind to the next person.
Yeah.
And so it's cute to say, get over one, get under another. And for instant gratification, it might work.
Oh, it has worked. It has worked.
It might work.
Yeah, it has worked.
Break up at 4:00. I'm at the bar.
However, it doesn't get rid of the feelings. It doesn't get rid of the pain.
It's a pain that you can't
No.
It's like a death pain. Like you just a death pain. No matter how much you drink, no matter how much sex you have, no matter any substance that you use, like that pain is not a pain that will subside. Yeah. Like it's like a really, really weird pain.
And the other thing
wish on
is,
anybody.
You also can give now this might be another, I'm gonna take your words, Javontae, another podcast. But you can literally be in a situation where you're not healed, sharing that trauma with your new partner, and that new partner could weaponize that against you and further traumatize you. So that's another.
So what do you do? Go
ahead. What were you going to say?
No, you go.
Are you sure?
But speak into the mic.
Oh. Ow. My mouth.
That's why you're a co-host of Philly Keep On Loving.
Ooh, Jesus.
Or Keep On Loving, the podcast.
Yes.
The podcast.
I want a t-shirt, by the way.
You know what happened? I went and I
your
worked
question. She got another meeting.
I do.
I do.
Get you out of here.
2 minutos.
What do you do? And can you tell the people what you do, or do you have a routine for self-care? And I'm gonna break it down even like closer. Do you have a routine as a Black woman?
Well, no. The routine is a little bit all over the place right now.
Okay.
Because I'm a little bit all over the place, and I can admit that.
Okay.
But what I would like to be.
Can we get these drops into the? I need these drops. Yep. Thank you.
But where I would like to be is self-care could look like different things for different people.
Okay.
So for me, getting back to reading books.
Yes.
Getting back to regularly scheduled programs for my hair appointments because they're off.
It's okay.
Making sure I hit my therapy sessions weekly. Making sure that I do communicate with my partner. Okay. Making sure that when my child is working my last nerve, that I have the strength to walk away, come back, just exercise healthy communication with my 8-year-old, because that could be really difficult with an 8-year-old child. And also understanding that there's a separation of work in my personal life because...
Come on.
Right. So, I believe in having a good time. I like to laugh, I like to hang with my friends. As much as I've been with my partner for 18 years.
Congratulations.
However, I am Ameenah first.
Hello.
And Ameenah is very, very... can be a little self-absorbed, but that's okay.
It's okay.
Because it keeps me, if I'm happy, I'm good for them.
Yeah.
Right? So if that means happy hour with my friends, traveling to out of town to see a friend, or getting my hair done, or going to a museum, that's self-care for me. It don't always have to be a spa. No, it's not that serious. But for me, having that balance of being Ameenah and then being all those other titles.
But see, I don't even think of like the spa and the nails and the hair as self-care. And this is just from a personal perspective. That's maintenance. Because if I don't do those things, this temple is going to fall apart.
But for some, for the
you
black,
need to add more.
For some people, though, that is self-care. Because, for instance, there's some women who pride themselves on their manicures. And they go every 2 weeks and get their nails done. But when that woman, if you know a woman like that or a person like that, and all of a sudden you're like, it's been 8 weeks and I ain't see nothing on their fingers.
You just made a
Something's
comment.
up with that person.
You just made a comment.
So it's a maintenance, yes, but it's also that person's form of self. It's a reflection of
and a reflection of their self-worth at times.
At the time.
But that's another episode.
But people's business. You made a comment the other day. It was like, you said something about my hair, and I was like, oh, child, because you was like, What's going on? You said something to that effect, but you did because I'm gonna
put Javontae on Front Street, right? So since we've been in the office, it's like you're like, oh, Ameenah, that's a nice outfit. Da, 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 da. Oh my God, right? No, it's all good. So it's like some people thought I went shopping. I didn't go shopping. I'm just reaching back because I'm feeling more like myself.
Hello.
So. Being a mom, I've only got one child. I had him at 36 years old. I'm now 44. Managing and navigating motherhood was hard work. And then I'm dealing with a child with special needs. So you put those two together, I'm like this. Just, okay.
And then having to deal with own things as yourself.
But now that we've settled as mother and son, I go like, okay, I could take that extra time in the morning to put an outfit together or a hairstyle together. So if you see me looking cute in the office, that's because Ameenah feels good.
Okay, and you're gonna get a lot of work out of me that day. Like when I tell you, like I threw this lip on today, and I was like, you know what? I really don't care what nobody got to say today. Like it just,
I don't have a lip to throw on now.
We can get you a clear
some
gloss.
Chapstick.
Yeah,
some Chapstick.
Get you some Carmack.
So I'm gonna bow out though because
You can't do the wrap up. We do the wrap
up.
up.
But I have to.
So as we wrap up,
I'm preempting.
She's trying to wrap up our podcast.
You know what? It's okay. You'll be on the list for next week in 2 weeks also.
So as we wrap up, how do you communicate to your partner that you're still healing? As you heal, how do you communicate? Did you steal my last question?
I tell them. I just tell them. Yeah. I need this space today. I can't do that today. I learned like no one can read my mind. I can't expect him to read my mind. Yeah. He deals with his own stuff. So it's important to say, I need you a little bit more today. Yeah. I need you a little bit more this week. Right? So just literally saying exactly what it is, or I'm like, you know what? I feel really crappy today. Yeah. So just being real direct.
I can't wait for part 2.
We will have to do a part 2.
We're definitely doing a part 2.
But today we're out of time, and so I just want to thank you, Ameenah, for coming and being our guest / co-host because she wrapped up our podcast.
She did. Sure did. But sis said I have to go do things, and I don't think anybody is going to wrap this up anytime soon. So
y'all want to cut me talking. Well, thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Keep On Loving. Remember, no matter how you're loving,
just keep on loving.
We out. Bye, y'all.